Hello everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Donna Gordon and I'm part of the membership team here at IIRSM. Your speaker today is Keith Scott, but before I hand over to your branch chair, I'm going to run through a few things first. To begin with, you should see to the right of your screen a toolbar with various options. You will be on mute for the duration of the webinar. Feel free to ask any questions and make any comments using the question area, and we will take time at the end to respond to these questions after the presentation. If you need any support using GoToWebinar, the iSystem will take you to the support site. Finally, this webinar is being recorded and a copy of the recording will be placed on the IIRSM YouTube channel after the event. So that's enough from me. Kareem, I'm now going to hand over to you.
Well, thank you, Donna. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kareem Atif, and I am the chair of the IIRSM branch in Egypt. Welcome to the second IIRSM branch meeting in Egypt. Our agenda today will be the welcome and introduction, which I facilitated. Then I will speak about the branch updates. After that, we will listen to Keith Scott, who will be presenting on the difference between the leadership and management. Finally, there is a Q&A session. So if you have any comment, feel free to submit it in the question box, and we will answer all your questions before the end of the meeting. Regarding to the branch updates, One Person Saver Bursary is a new initiative by two global leaders in safety, the charitable foundation One Person Saver and the IIRSM. Its aim is to support the development of risk and safety professionals in 5 emerging nations, which are Nigeria, Egypt, India, Pakistan, and Ghana. I think all of us know about the IIRSM, but let me tell you a brief about One Person Saver. It's a charitable foundation, and its vision is to cut the number of lives lost due to work-related injuries and illness each year by 1%. That's 28,000 worldwide. All profits from the sale of One Person Saver book and its related products go directly to One Person Saver Foundation, which is an independently governed charitable fund created to make the world a safer place to work in. To achieve its vision, One Person Saver has a set of charitable objects. These include the provision of practical help in the forms of small grants or support with professional education and development to the safety and risk practitioners. So successful applicants for One Person Saver Bursary will receive a year's free membership at affiliate level of the IIRSM. This gives them access to a wealth of tools and resources to support their professional journey in the safety and risk, including the IIRSM's brilliant magazine, The Sentinel, regular updates on the development in the world of risk, professional development opportunities to boost their careers, networking opportunities to share, learn, and make connections, and an excellent mentoring platform for peer-to-peer learning, and a widely recognized and respected post-nominal. The closing date for the applications is the 1st of November. So to find out more about the scheme and how to apply, Donna, can you share the link in the chat box, please? Regarding to the future branch meetings, yes, the IIRSM branch meetings will be on monthly basis. The next meeting will be on the 12th of October. The topic and the speaker will be confirmed shortly. Other CPD and training opportunities that the branch will offer. So the IIRSM will deliver an online training course, which is Managing Risk, the Essentials course. The duration of the course is 4 hours, which is split into 2 consecutive days. The course will be on 28th and 29th of September from 9 to 11 a.m. UK time. So for more information about the course and how to book your place in, so also Donna, please, can you help with this if you share the link in the chat box? Regarding to the international branch meetings, there are 2 branch meetings will be delivered in September. The first one is Qatar branch meeting, which will be on the 21st of September, and the other one will be Nigeria branch meeting, which will be on the 24th of September. So you can visit the IIRSM website to find out more about information about the 2 meetings along with the booking link. About the other CPD opportunities that the branch will offer, we will deliver a webinar on 28th of September at 7 p.m. The speaker and the topic will be confirmed shortly. And this webinar will be in Arabic language. So if you have any of your colleagues, any of your team who struggle with English language, tell them about the webinar and give them the opportunity to attend this free webinar. That's regarding the update of our branch. So now I will hand over the meeting to Keith, who will be presenting on leadership versus management.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Donna and Karim, and I'd like to thank you for organising the event and inviting me. I'm very happy to be here talking to the second Egypt IIRSM branch meeting. For many of you on the audience will know that I have an affinity with Egypt because it is my second home, so I'm very pleased to be attending this safety branch and supporting. So it's fantastic for me to be able to do this, to discuss leadership and management. And I think we'll get into the debate. Hopefully, I will encourage some of you to ask questions during the presentation, and it will be made available. So let's start off. So today, hopefully, we'll learn a little bit more about why is management important, why is leadership important, and how to tell the difference. And more importantly, what does good look like? So do I become a good leader, or how do I become a good leader? And hopefully Q&A. So we'll hopefully by the end of the presentation, you'll have a little bit more answers to these questions. Okay.
Lovely. Keith, can you just share your screen for us so we can see your presentation, please?
Ah, right. Okay. Let's see what I've got to do now. Share my screen. It's gone off the presentation. Here we go. I'm just going to share my screen, hopefully. Is that coming up now?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. I do apologise. Tell me to take that down. So, is that okay now, Donna?
That's perfect. Thank you, Keith.
That's great stuff. Okay, so again, we'll go through why is management important. So managers have a crucial role in success, and some of these roles include being entrusted with the day-to-day planning and delivery of the operational objectives. As you know, organisations rely on managers to actually achieve the objectives the day-to-day of what are they there for? The organisation, what is it going to deliver? Is it a service? Is it a product? Are there various demands? And managers are there to ensure that the to achieve the goals that it's set, to make sure the business delivers. And the manager really does start to look at how they focus on that, dealing with situations, that are unexpected, but still making sure that you maintain the flight path to deliver or exceed the objectives. And again, that gives a lot of benefit to the organisation. It means that you can improve the results for finance and profits, or if you like, governance and expectations. And obviously then the organisation will become a lot more well known for delivering good services, etc., but particularly controlling situations, measuring and achieving. All of those things you would talk about in that management, you know, the SMART objectives, that sort of thing, to make sure we deliver on time. Dealing with operational change, complexity, deploying resources. So again, managers get set all of those targets. They are given the resources, they are given the deadlines to achieve that, and most of the time they are left to set those projects up in place and bring those resources on to ensure the correct deployment. And complexity of organisation, things change, people change, products change, services change. So again, managers are relied upon by the organisation to ensure delivery of their objectives. And a big part of that, of course, is dealing with people, skills and succession planning. So everybody is different, people come and go, succession planning is important. Skills required for the job changes as the environment changes, the equipment changes. So managers have to reassess and evaluate, have they got the right people, have the people got the right skills? And succession planning is particularly important for managers, because to keep your operational efficient and effective, succession planning is so important. We've all seen where one or two people can leave an organisation and actually the succession planning may be not as good as it should be, and those objectives start to fall or fail, and the services are not produced as efficiently or effectively as they would. And again, that leads to delivering the service or product quality on time and within cost. So management is important, and so being a manager, you can be set guidance and goals and time, but it's very important to the organisation. So why is leadership important? Good leadership brings solution innovation. Solution innovation is required to improve and maintain performance and be competitive. You know, an organisation isn't a standalone organisation. It's in reality, it's part of life, it's living, it's interacting with the competitors, with the environment, with people. It provides a service. And if an organisation, like an individual, stands still and doesn't develop, then actually it will fall back in the marketplace and will not be prepared to be competitive for the future. So leadership is very important, because solution innovation will be the lifeblood of the development and growth of the company. Leadership is important for improving and maintaining risk performance, reduces loss in terms of cost to people, the planet and profits. And these are often identified as the triple bottom line. But it's very important that you are not thinking just about what we are doing for today and the products and services for today, but how that impacts on the people, the planet and profits for the future. So again, we often talk about how we interact with society as an organisation. Are we polluting? Are we not? Are we saving lives? Are we adding to society? All of those corporate social responsibility issues, leaders really are focusing on to ensure that the reputation and the performance of the company is seen to be as good as it is. And a good leader will demonstrate commitment to people, the organisation and wider social audience. Engage with people and listen. So people also like to work for organisations which are well led and care for people. And you'll find this, that if your employees and your colleagues believe that their organisation is well led, and usually so some very well educated people have talked about management versus leadership, and here's a couple of quotes that I like to use in presentations. So Peter F. Drucker indicated that management is doing things right, but leadership is doing the right thing. So that's something for you to ponder during the time of the presentation, to what does that really mean? So management doing the right things, leadership is doing the right thing. So, and also Dwight D. Eisenhower said, leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. So that's an interesting concept, isn't it? That if you are a true leader, then you're usually selling a vision, you are usually leading, generating conversation, and invigorating and motivating people to follow you or to follow a plan or a story that you are telling them. So you are getting them to do things, not because you've told them, but because they want to do it. They've bought in to your vision. So what's the difference between leadership and management then, if we're looking further? So again, our Next Generation is a website, is an organisation, and in the notes sections of the presentation, you will see that I've lifted this directly from them, and it's interesting when they look at the manager and leader trait. So manager gives direction, has subordinates, holds authority, tells you what, has good ideas, reacts to change, tries to be a hero in some situations, and exercises power. And they say that actually a leader asks questions, has followers, is motivational, shows you how, actions good ideas, creates change, makes heroes, and develops power. So you can see that a manager very much acts within the system, and a leader very much acts on the system or on the individuals. And it'll be interesting for you to consider that and how you relate to that as an individual. And do you have to become a leader or a manager at various times during the day, depending on the situation? So who should or can be a leader? Well, we look at CEOs and directors and senior management. Line managers can be leaders, risk professionals. And who else? And in which situation? So if you are a specialist in your field, or if you look at your private life, you may be an expert in something or a leader in something. You might lead a football team. You might be an expert at chess or a leader in your family in a particular situation. So leadership is not isolated just to the workplace or any individuals. It can be situational and based on competencies. If you're not competent in a situation, would you step forward to be a leader? So again, it's an interesting thing is who should or can be a leader. And I'll be interested in to sort of hear your opinions at the end of the presentation. Again, going back to Max Weber, very old traditional descriptions of type of leader. So you have traditional, known, appointed leaders, bureaucratic leaders, functional or experts, charismatic leaders, informal leaders. And you will be able to identify in your own life some of the leaders that you've come across that fit these types of leader. But what type of leader are you? Have you been more than one of these types? Do you use guided democracy or dictatorial styles? Are you charismatic? Are you a functional or expert leader? Maybe there are a few of those on the call. But what about authority? I have that if I have authority, so I'm a leader. Or am I? That's the question. Sometimes I've met people that have authority and naturally assume that people will follow them. So leadership versus authority. Some people have asked me about this in the past. And so really just drawing up this diagram really, leadership gets results through inspiration, use their personality to influence, achieves results through motivation, communication multi-directional, or as I like to say, having dialogue and making sure there's understanding, and employs coaching and support techniques. Whereas authority can usually survive on using directives to get results, use their position to achieve results, use reward and punishment to get results. Communication is usually top-down and employs commands. So there is a distinct, you can see some of these things you do from time to time and in different situations. But I really want to turn to influencing. So what about influencing? Authority and influence. So the branch discussion, the things I'd like you to consider and maybe come up with some comments about. Are people with authority more effective leaders than those without? Is the use of influence an effective management or leadership tool? How can we influence people who do not report directly to us? And if people report to you, does this mean that you automatically influence them? I think some of these questions are important for us to understand. And also, how long will that influence last? Will it be whilst you are present, or will it be when you're not there? Will people do as you say when you're watching them? And so is influence important? And it goes back to that saying that you know, we want people to do things because they want to do it. So influence could be a useful tool. So I'll be interested to hear what you think about some of those questions for the branch discussion. What does a good leader look like? This is very important, isn't it? So you can have good and bad of everything, and a good leader usually achieves results because, again, you've got this vision that you want to set people, and you'll usually take bite size or pigeon steps to get there and build on each small success, so you achieve the results. That builds confidence within the team. Usually a good leader is inspiring. It inspires people, they inspire people. And some people are a bit surprised that a good leader is very hardworking. You know, they're the first one there, they're the last one to go, they engage with people, they do their preparation. So again, hard work. It's not all about you know, being the big boss. It's about actually leading by example and being there for when people need you. Giving and receiving respect. A good leader will do that, irrespective of position. We are all humans and we all have issues and problems and needs. So giving and receiving respect is very important. Honesty. You must be absolutely honest as a good leader. People see through that. Authentic communication. If you're not being honest, people will read your body language. And, you know, again, people, it's not just the words, it's what people say. So do you do as I do, or do as I say, or lead by example? And accept responsibility. You know, it's about, if things don't go according to plan, you may have alternatives. But actually, if you are the leader and it's not going according to plan, usually it's up to you to fix that. And that's accepting responsibility is the first step. And being visibly inclusive is very important as a good leader. Don't let people fall by the wayside in team meetings or not participate. Try to actively engage people and be visibly inclusive to get them involved in the conversation. You know, sometimes this can be difficult in teams because you'll have 2 or 3 people that are very vocal and very, you know, outspoken. But being visibly inclusive is very important. So good leaders generate and maintain trust to create and maintain good relationships. And that's where the hard work comes in. It's not a one-time fix-all solution. It's a continuous program of work to maintain that honesty and that inspiring people, and then maintaining that relationship by keeping that trust. Good leadership traits, again, as we were sort of alluding to, but good leadership traits are dialogue and communication, regularly, continuously and consistent, up and down the management chain. Decision making, take decisions in good time and take responsibility. How many times have we seen people not making decisions? And that's really key to a good leadership trait, that actually when it needs to be decided on, take ownership, take responsibility. Don't shy away from that. And commitment to the organisation and its people. Commitment is very important. And again, that shows authentically through to people within the organisation. Concern for staff, respecting, trusting and committing to them. So it's very important to show that concern and that respect and trust, as we talked about previously, and committing to them. So when they need you, be there for them. And I'm sure that will reflect directly back to you. Another good trait is quality, a commitment to quality in products and services for the organisation and for the people. Quality is important because usually it means getting things right first time, and that saves a lot of work and adds to the efficiency and effectiveness of the team and the organisation. And have a given set of values demonstrated and consistent. There's nothing worse than working for a leader who actually has values you cannot identify and is inconsistent. It's very troubling for people. They don't know how to respond. And again, the set of values for yourself gives you that nice solid base to move forward from. And it's a good thing for you to use as a tool as a leader to remind yourself of your values from time to time. Personal integrity, keep the moral high ground, always lead by example, do the honest thing, and keep that personal integrity. Positive attitudes, really important, transmitted to staff and customers. You know, there's a lot of people that will call the middle of the week hump day. I call it pinnacle day because, again, it's terminology and it's saying positive. You know, out of every problem, there is solutions and opportunities to fix things. When the situation is negative or possibly bad, leadership is the thing that will make a difference and get the team rallied and focused on the possible opportunities. Mutuality and dependence. Good leaders know their weaknesses and when to seek help. After all, the team is stronger than the leader, and usually good leaders ensure that they have a good team around them. But it means about ensuring they understand and people understand the mutuality and independence of people. So get all those skills on board and respect people. So steps for leading others. Here we have the checklist for you. Develop and follow a set of values. So what are your values? Do you have them? Are they values that you have in work and in your social life? Be a good listener and communicator. Many people talk just to communicate, but listening is really important. Listen twice as hard and twice as often as you speak. Take a longer term view as well, not just the short term. Sometimes those short term fixes can do more damage in the long run. Show commitment in any area that you need to. Show concern for staff. Have a commitment to quality. So do you do that? Are you checking that off? Demonstrate your personal integrity. Demonstrate a positive attitude to the job. Accept responsibility for failures and share responsibility for success. Don't keep it all to yourself. Let the team benefit from the good times. So, leadership behaviours. You know, Winston Churchill, as a wartime leader, said, "I'm a leader, therefore I must serve." It's a very powerful statement. And some of the new ways of thinking and newer ways of thinking is different types of leadership, including leadership by serving people. But really, if you think of all of those things we've just talked about, commitment to people, show compassion, look after quality, it's all about service. And you serve the team, you serve the organisation, you serve society as a leader. And I have to say that I had to put a Chelsea football quote in here. It's a bit old, I know, but Gianluca Vialli did say, "Leadership means crediting everyone for success and accepting for yourself the blame and responsibility when things go wrong." And really, before you lead others, you need to know where you are heading. So what do you know what you want to do in life? Are you a manager? Are you a leader? Are you skilled at that? Do you know what you need to do to improve those things? So the journey from manager to leader can be daily, and you may be doing those things, but actually, do you want to actively increase your skills or improve your skills? So a manager's competencies may well be in the actual job expected of them. Do they know what they should do? Do they do everything in the job description or what the organisation expects them to do? And as a manager, you have specific professional related fields like any risk manager or IT or production manager. And also in the internal processes and procedures. As a manager, you should really understand what you're doing and your projects and your delivery of products, where they fit into those internal processes and procedures, and understand how you get the best from those processes and procedures to deliver and manage the people and services. Leadership competencies, I would suggest, are or include influencing, negotiation, and emotional intelligence. Influencing, as we were saying, is very important to help people to understand and buy into your vision. Negotiation is, it's not all about getting everything in one go, but small steps in the right direction will get you to your destination. And emotional intelligence is very important. What is going on around you? Do you understand that your team, the organization? Do you understand yourself, how you behave, how your behavior or the way you react with people, interact with people affects them? So it's very important to study emotional intelligence, I believe, as a leader, and understand the game of emotional intelligence has two players. It's you, and everybody else is a separate you. So what are your future considerations? What are your aspirations? Where are you on the journey between management and leadership? Have you enough management training, knowledge, and experience? Leadership can be practiced in many situations, not just the workplace, so you can get experience of that. Have you got that leadership experience that you can bring to bear in different situations? But have you the confidence as well as the competence in management and leadership skills? Sometimes confidence is just as important as competence, and without both of those, it can let you down. So what are your next steps for your development? So developing your personal action plan, establishing your starting point. Where are you now and where do you want to be? Identify what you want to achieve. Is it a qualification? Is it a level? Is it skills, a set of skills? Setting your objectives, identifying your resources. Is it going to take time, money, involve other people, learning from other people? And set realistic timescales. Don't be too hard on yourself. Leadership and management take experience as well as competencies and the skill sets and the experience. Develop the implementation plan and implement the action plan for that, and then monitor progress and review achievements. This all leads and forms part of your continuing professional development. And as you gain that experience and those competencies, you will see that that's a never-ending process. So when considering management versus leadership, again, I like to use some quotes. So Rosalind Carter says a very good quote I like is, a leader takes people where they want to go, but a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. So sometimes leadership is very difficult and it's not an easy path, but if you understand where people should be, you need to help them on that journey. And Stephen R. Covey says management works in the system and leadership works on the system. And that's really setting a scene for what's the difference between the two. And where do you fit in? What's your experience? Are there any problems with doing that? So I would just like to leave you with that one thought. So neither a wise man nor a brave man lies down on the tracks of his future, wait for the train of the future to run over him. So with that said, I'd like to thank you for listening, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Hi, so we have a question from Imran Ali. Imran is asking, what do you think makes a good leader?
I think that a good leader is somebody that it's a combination of things, of life skills, really. Listening skills are really important. Assessing the situation and understanding the situation around you and your environment. So, some of those skills we talked about earlier. Are you competent in that situation? Can you see that things are going wrong? Do you think that you can actually lead in that situation? And being decisive. So I turn really back to some of those things we talked about: decision making, competencies, confidence, and again, but really listening, understanding what the issues are, and trying to assess what the catalysts for changes are here. What do you need to do? What's going wrong? So observation, listening, very important, and being, ask questions for people. Very often in situations, people are responding in a way. It could be emotional, it could be anger, it could be danger. And again, we just need to understand what's going on. So asking questions and just assessing whether you should take that leadership or not. Most leaders on the other side of that has a longer term plan, so they have a vision of where they want the organisation or team to be. So it's about thinking time for yourself as a good leader. A good leader must assess and must review and must research and must look at how to improve those things that need to be improved within the organisation or the team. So it's a lot of hard work, really, but there's some of the things I think make a good leader. And admit when you are wrong. Utilize other people's good thoughts. As a leader, we are individuals, but the team may have some fantastic ideas. So don't be too proud to actually thank the person and say, okay, let's give this a try. And let the team benefit from that diversity of experience and knowledge. So these are some of the things I think make a good leader.
Brilliant. Thank you, Keith. We have more of a comment from Abdulatif. I believe that managers and leaders should only do the right things in the right ways, and managers should act as leaders and be trained to do so.
And I think that's right for Abdul. I mean, I think that's a fantastic comment, because I know, and I think many people know, that during the day I will act as a manager and act as a leader in different situations. As a function leader, then the organisation sees me as the internal expert, and that's fine, and that's clear. That's a known leader within the organisation. But from time to time, you're in meetings with different function heads, but they don't understand your skill sets, and so sometimes I will, be a leader in that situation when there's no one else stepping forward. And sometimes I know that I need to manage a particular process or help people understand what to do next as a manager, to actually show people what to do. So sometimes it's a matter of rolling up your sleeves and helping the team with the work. So I agree.
Fantastic. So then we've got a couple of questions from Mustafa. The first one is, how can leaders be bureaucratic? And then the second question is, are HSE and risk managers, are they leaders or more coaches?
So bureaucratic leaders are leaders that are appointed usually. When Webber was talking about, he was talking about civil servants and government, bureaucratic leaders. So then they're not elected. It could be elected. It could be a member of parliament or something like that. But again, it's usually those well-known bureaucratic leaders. That we look to the Minister of Electricity to make sure the electricity supply, and he may blame the civil servants if that doesn't all go right, or he may give them praise for when it does go right. So that's the sort of thing when Max Webber was saying that. On the second, what was the second question again, Donna? Sorry.
So are HSE and risk managers, so are they leaders or more coaches?
Well, again, I actually think they're both. So as I say, if you are the HSE leader, you're a head of function, like in the organisation, you are certainly a leader. You need to be able to engage with the CEO and senior managers and lead for the head of the function. Very often, you'll be challenged by senior people in the organisation that don't necessarily want to take that risk action or that safety action, and you need to really step up and help them understand why that needs to be done. So you very often have to do that. And the coaching comes with the team. You have to coach the team, so you have to be both. So part of managing your team and developing your team and being a leader in your team is all of that. So coaching your team and mentoring your team to achieve the results is very important, is understanding how you support your team. And that's that caring side for people. and developing people, and you will get the respect then, and you will find that that's, you know, that just feeds on itself, that you'll build that trust with the team. So I think you need to be both in different situations and with different members of the organisation.
Thank you, Keith. That's great. So I've got a question from Hesham. Hesham Tahar, because we've got two different Heshams who've sent questions. So we'll do Hesham Tahar first. Okay, so how can you improve the spirit of a leader? So, for example, is this by experience? I suppose that he means in terms of how they interact and how kind of their spirit towards each other, other people within the organisation, or maybe their direct reports. And are there courses that people can study about this?
Okay, so there's from my perspective, there's maybe two parts to this question. So if as a leader, you know, I need to, you know, support myself to maintain my enthusiasm and all of those good skills I do. So that's where the emotional intelligence comes in. And there are emotional intelligence courses and different levels within the emotional intelligence study. But essentially, it's understanding about your thoughts, your feelings and your actions. And not every day am I going to get up full of the joys of spring and bubbly, and, you know, because I'm a human being too. Maybe I've had a bereavement, maybe, you know, there's been a problem in my family, but I'm expected to go to work and be that leader. So understanding your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings are very important, and how that may impact on other people. So again, emotional intelligence is very important to maintain your own level of well-being, okay? And it just makes you be honest with yourself and with others when you can show empathy and when actually you need to maybe take a harder stance. So I would look, I studied, you know, the 6 seconds method of which is available online. You can Google online 6 seconds. There's a lot of free information on there. You can actually go on certificated courses for that. And then on the leadership aspects of, yes, there are courses in leadership. Now, I'm not sure how widespread they are across the globe, but certainly in the UK, there are even master's degrees in leadership. And I remember years ago, you know, working with Barry Holt, and we developed courses on leadership for safety practitioners and risk managers. So there are specific courses that you can find available in the skills for leadership. And again, so there are the two methods that you need, and you really need those to maintain, you know, to look at that plan. So do your evaluation. Where are you now? Evaluate your performance. Are you happy with, you know, the way you perform in management and leadership? And really do that thinking and evaluation. And if necessary, engage either, you know, a member of your family that you trust or a member of the profession that you trust. And IIRSM have a mentoring scheme as well, which can actually help you with that going forward as a professional. So it's skills that you develop, but you must remember you are human too. You know, you're not isolated, and you impact on those around you. So it's an important question.
Brilliant. We've got some great questions as well, Keith. So are leadership skill set considered acquired skills? Can anyone learn how to be a leader, or is this something that we are born with? And this is from Hesham Amin.
Well, again, it's interesting, isn't it? I think as we develop in life, we become leaders, don't we, in certain situations? I believe leaders are made. I don't believe they are born. You know, I actually believe that some situations you will see the most quiet person become a leader in a situation because they take action when other people around them are not taking action. There are also informal leaders, you know, there'll be a team of people, all of the same sort of level, but actually one will be the unofficial leader, you know, the one that everybody turns to and listens to. So I actually think you can, anybody can be a leader. You can look at this in your own life. your friends and your family, not just work. Who is a specialist in a field at work? They could be a leader on that. But actually, in your home life, is there somebody that is, a particular skill in a particular field? They didn't get that by chance. They weren't born with that skill. They developed that skill. They practiced. They made perfect, and they became a leader in that. So I think leadership can be learnt. It's not necessary just for the work environment. You can be a leadership in any particular part or section of life. Let me give you an example. I've been happily married for as many years as I can think. And I know this because every morning my wife tells me, "You're happily married." And I agree. But in some situations with our children, I know when I'm expected to be a leader through experience. My wife will look at me, she'll give me a look, and I will know I need to take the lead on this, so I will become the leader. And vice versa. Sometimes I will look to my wife for leadership in this area, and she will take the lead. So even in ordinary everyday life, you develop the leadership skills, and also you develop the knowledge of when to take the lead in situations. And some of that is not only training, but experience and relationship. So I believe anybody can be a leader, and most people are in something, but they've just not classed it as leadership.
Fantastic. Okay, so I've got a question from Mahmood. So for organizations with long-term goals, such as oil companies, where every employee is required to act in a definitive role in a definitive way, while leadership is now requiring new ways to work, and it creates a clash with the expectations from higher management. Is it recommended to go through the battle until the goal is achieved, or is it better to kind of stay silent and kind of watch everything go on around you?
No, it's interesting. This is where this is your real test of leadership. Leadership is very lonely at some stage. And if you are the functional specialist and you know that you're looking at the culture, you're looking at the situation, and it's really about understanding, observing what are the hurdles to achieving this. Is it leadership that are not doing what they tell other people to do? Is it because the organisation isn't progressing, isn't looking at how other organisations do things on the outside? So very often as a leader, you have to engage and educate upward and to the side with senior managers. And this is a tough thing for people to do. This can sometimes make you think that actually I'm going to challenge the CEO here or the legal, the head of finance, and I might not have a job by the time I've challenged. But the reality is, as a leader, this is what you're there to do. But you're there to do it in a way that is as acceptable as it can be. And this is where emotional intelligence is helpful, observing and listening, and asking questions is always a good way to start a conversation that's difficult with people. So ask questions to lead them to an answer. This is a good way. So I do think that you have to step up to the plate if you are the head of function. But it's about thinking, how is the best way to achieve this? The best way to achieve things is not usually by fighting or upsetting. The best way to achieving things is usually by education and discussion and asking questions of, is this the best way to do it? Could we do it something else? Or do you want to achieve a different result? So I think it is about all of those skills we said, but at the end of the day, if you are the functional leader, your job is to achieve that long-lasting change in the culture. And that's not usually done by aggression or outbursts or upsetting people. It's trying to work out a way. Okay, do I understand what their problems are? Do I understand why they may be stressed? What's their objectives? Ask how you can help them to achieve their objectives. This is usually one of the ways I help people to say, okay, they're not being cooperative or they're doing things the wrong way. They may be senior than me. And I try and actively engage them to find out how I can help them initially and build that relationship. So it's a difficult one, but that's what the challenge of being a good leader is, to actually develop and maintain a cultural change.
Lovely. I've got another question here. May someone become a leader with less work experience but with good theoretical knowledge? So can someone become a leader?
Yeah, I mean, again, you can have theoretical knowledge, and that's great. You do need, I mean, I always look at competence in three things. Have you got the technical skills, the knowledge? Have you had a go at doing something, and were you successful? Because for me, that's the simple way of looking at competence, because you can have all of the qualifications you like, but if you haven't tried it, then you have never been successful. You can have all the qualifications you like, you can have tried it, but have failed. Are you competent? So again, for me, leadership is about achieving those small wins, those successes, and building on those successes. So yes, I believe you can start off as long as you have the skills and knowledge, and that's where your development comes from. So are you a good manager? Do you know what management is and what the difference is between leadership? Do you know, have you got the right skills? Have you reviewed that? And have you had a go? Have you tried being a leader in certain situations? And it doesn't have to be big situations. It can be small situations or less important situations. But actually, that's where you build knowledge, success, and importantly, confidence. So I do believe you can start. Every leader starts at the beginning at some stage.
So I think we're on to the last question now. So do you think leaders in organizations without authority can achieve the goal, achieve the organizational goals?
Yes, I do. I've seen leadership work very well by influencing. Influencing is the key. Developing relationships, helping people, and that relationships are really, really important. And we find out a lot about what's going on in the organisation by developing relationships and just finding out how we can help people. So I do believe that it's one of the most powerful tools you can use. Authority usually only lasts while you're in authority and over certain people if you use that as your main tool. But actually influencing and helping people to understand what you're trying to achieve, understanding how that can help them in their work is very powerful. And it gets long-term buy-in, So it develops positive relationships, and that usually helps you in your goals and your achievements. So I do believe that's possible. And it's one of the main tools I use to understand people and then try and help them.
Fantastic. So that's all the questions. Kareem, I'll hand back over to you.
So thank you, Donna, for support for the question. Finally, I need to thank you for everyone who attends our branch meeting, and feel free to bring on your wider networks who wanted to be educated, not only the safety professionals, but only your supervisors, your senior managers. Also, I need to thank you, Keith, for your informative webinar. And also, I need to thank you, Donna, for the support of the webinar. So thank you, everyone.
Keep safe.
Thanks, Kareem. Thanks, everyone, for attending. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Keep safe.
Take care. Bye.